Scores that no one expected to see at the Club World Cup. Back in June 2025, the Club World Cup kicked off with some of the biggest teams from every continent, and most people expected the usual powerhouses from Europe and South America to dominate, but there have actually been a decent number of surprises so far at the tournament. You see, the first shock came when Inter Miami took on Porto. Miami was the underdog, and not many people gave them a chance, especially against Porto, who have a long history in European football. But Miami pulled off a stunning 2-1 victory where Lionel Messi scored his 50th goal for the club, and the stadium in Atlanta went wild as for the first time ever, a team from Major League Soccer beat a European side in this competition. But that was only the beginning of the madness. The thing is, Al Ahly, the Egyptian Giants, faced Porto in a game that turned into an 8-goal thriller. Both teams had slim chances of advancing since if the other two teams in their group tied the game, Porto and Al Ahly would be eliminated. But they still played like everything was on the line. And Wissam Abou Ali scored a hat-trick for Al Ahly, and Porto equalized 4 different times. The second half was pure chaos with 3 goals in just 3 minutes, and to be honest, Al Ahly could have scored 8 goals in this game. But if you thought those results were wild, wait until you hear about Botafogo. As it turns out, Botafogo, who had just won their first ever Copa Libertadores, faced off against Champions League winners PSG. Everyone expected PSG to cruise through, but Botafogo shocked the entire world, winning 1-0 as Igor Jesus scored the only goal, and PSG's long scoring streak was snapped right there in Pasadena. And Botafogo also surprised everyone by advancing to the knockout stages instead of Atletico Madrid. But this was still just the beginning of the surprises. What I mean is that Flamengo played Chelsea in Philadelphia and went down early, but after halftime, everything changed. Bruno Henrique came off the bench, scored the equalizer, and then set up another goal just minutes later. Chelsea went down to 10 men, and Flamengo finished them off with a third goal. But arguably the most unbelievable draw happened in Nashville. Auckland City, an amateur team from New Zealand, which has players who have regular day jobs and some of whom even had to use time off from work just to play in the tournament, faced Boca Juniors, one of the most famous clubs in the world. Despite nearly 40 shots from Boca, Auckland's goalkeeper Nathan Garrow kept them in the game. Christian Gray scored a header to tie it up, and Auckland City walked away with a historic draw. But the tournament's biggest shocks were still ahead. Fluminense took on Inter Milan, the Champions League finalists, and beat them 2-0. Herman Cano scored right at the start, and Inter just couldn't break through Fluminense's defense. Even Lautaro Martinez hit the post, but nothing went in for Inter. But last but not least, one team has been impressing the world very much. What I mean is that Al Hilal, the Saudi Arabian club, tied Real Madrid in Jabi Alonso's first game in charge of the club. A lot of people dismissed this as a fluke, but then Al Hilal went on to face Manchester City, the Premier League giants, and knocked them out in extra time. Marcos Leonardo scored twice, and Yassine Bono made 10 saves, making Al Hilal the first Asian team to ever beat a European side in the tournament. But despite all the craziness, we're still only in the quarterfinal round, so there will probably be a part 2 to this video. Follow if you want the algorithm show it to you.